up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Beats for Build. We're here working on the Lamborghini Murcielago. This is a huge episode. This is our first test drive episode. So we bought this car about 4 years ago from a viewer who had bought it at auction. It's the cheapest Lamborghini Murcielago ever sold. I got it for $30,000. Previous owner, the last time this thing was ever actually driving, drove it straight off a corner into a field, rolled it over, and then it went to auction and eventually became ours. We've been in the process of cleaning it up and rebuilding it. We brought it into our shop, took the damaged materials off, actually physically moved the engine to where it's supposed to be in the car and rebuilt the supports, changed out the crushed and demolished fuel tank from the wreck, added new body panels, added new frame, structure, and all new suspension. And in today's episode, we are finally gonna get to test drive it for the first time. We have never had this car move under its own weight forwards or backwards, so that's gonna be a big moment. And then if all goes well, we're gonna get it out onto the streets and give it a whirl. So before we can do that, we've got a lot of stuff to conquer. Right now, we have no brakes. We have no alignment, we have no rear bumper, we have no taillights, and we have a broken front axle. So we got a lot of work to do, and I can't wait to drive this car, so let's jump into it. This is our rear bumper. It's off of an LP 640 or something or other. Aftermarket replacement bumper. Very, very well made piece from Poland. And it wasn't originally designed for this car. So the mounting parts are here and all through here, and we have a whole lot of none of that. What we're gonna go ahead and get started on though is actually a side mounting piece that goes right here that slides in right here, and we need to fabricate one of those. Oscar, you got the original? It's not a complex shape, and we just simply don't have the other one, and rather than waiting to buy one from Lamborghini, it sits here, it's adjustable in and out, and then that latches onto the bumper and kind of slides in through there with a little bit of finesse. So we're gonna go ahead and fabricate one of these from scratch so we have a matching set. Oscar just finished up fabrication on our clone piece. Just a button head bolt, a washer, and a little bit of filing on the drill. Good to go. We do have a lathe, but it's a lot to set up, so screw it. Now, these take a little bit of finessing, so we're gonna finesse these a little bit so they're ready to accept the different hooks, or whatever we're gonna call these, guides. And then we can start test fitting that corner out in space. So now that Oscar's got the custom fabricated, whatever we're calling this specialty bolt, there's a bracket being built that's gonna weld on over here. It gives us layers of adjustability. Yes, there's work on the camper truck going on in the background. Next thing we always do is get the bumper exactly into space where we want it, and then we're gonna start building brackets to build off from here. Now this bumper is for a LP 670, and this is not even an LP model, it's just the base Murcielago. So some of this stuff is, we're turning the corner to custom land at this point. The taillights are no longer gonna fit. They don't tuck behind here anymore. The bracketry's gotta be built off of here. What we're gonna go ahead and do to keep this car, let's say, higher in the resale value area, is we're not going to weld off of the frame. We're going to build brackets off the frame so they could always be unbolted and go back to stock if I ever do sell this car, which I don't plan on it, and the next owner wanted to go 100% stock. So we're just kind of doing adaptations that aren't permanent changes. So Oscar's working on whipping up a couple brackets. Our game plan is to bolt in here, 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 and here in the middle, and then there's 3 bolts on each side that hold it in there as well. And then because we are gonna do a really cool diffuser, we're gonna probably build some supports from the bottom, but that's the next step. Bumper's holding its own weight. We've got the side thing. Well, to be honest, that's pretty loose. That's why we're seeing that panel gap there, but the side bracket is in the right spot. Oscar just finished up. This is what you saw fabbing up these brackets right here that look really cool. I'm a fan of the shape and the way that he made those. There's venting that goes in all over this. Anyways, it'll hide every bit of it, but they're really cool looking brackets. This bracket is on now, welded into the car, and everything's good there. Now we have one last bracket section to make, and that's the up top section that's gonna bolt. We're actually gonna bolt off of around here somewhere, or maybe weld off around here to be a bolt on, bolt off. So one more set of brackets to go, and then this, I mean, it's already it's very sturdy, but we're going above and beyond because there's empty bolt holes. So that's all we know how to do. Oscar got the last brackets for the rear bumper fabricated up, and they are integrated into these brackets. So it kind of comes out here and bolts in here. This thing is very, very sturdy, very much on here. I'm really happy about the way that that all turned out. And then these brackets are pretty interesting because they just have this like slotting hole right here and here. And that actually goes into kind of our rear, I don't know what you would call this piece, but it's got these stabby bits that come out of the bottom and locate themselves into these brackets right here. So it's a pretty cool integration, 2 into 1 now. And then that's what covers up this this muffler area and kind of comes down into here. I've got an update on our journey for 3-piece stock Lamborghini wheels. I got my rear wheel in. This got shipped in. This was, I think, $1,800. It was a lot. This one was really, really cheap. It was only $200. Here's the bummer. What we didn't see in the listing, in the ad, is this spoke is cracked. There is a fracture going all the way through here. I think this spoke got hit so hard that I knew that the back of the wheel had a break in it right there, but I did not know that the spoke was in that bad of damage. So I'm pretty positive. I mean, I don't even want to risk it with something so valuable that is, I mean, the crack goes all the way down through here, and it doesn't look like it's just in the paint coat either. It's bad, and there's also this huge gouge right here in here. So I don't think this is salvageable. If anybody happens to have a front, let me know. Looking to buy one. If it's scuffed up, that's fine. We're going to refinish these, but I need to buy one more front, and then we'll have all 4 to go get them 3-piecified. Next up, we're going to get our auxiliary power system into the car. I found this company, Redodo. They make a lot of really cool lithium-ion batteries. So this is, it's very lightweight, and it's a they call it their mini series, and it's a 100 amp hour battery. So that means it can take a ton of power. Like, it stores a ton of power. This it says in the manual, it can be used on automotive. It can charge right off of our alternator. It just needs to be a DC to DC alternator at the same voltage range as what we have. So that's good, but I did read a lot of your guys' comments about mixing and matching, that you don't really want to mix a lithium-ion battery and a traditional lead-acid battery. So I'm going to take that advice, and for now, we're going to actually have 2 separated systems, and I really like the sound of that, because with all the fun aftermarket electronics I plan on doing on this car, I wouldn't mind having a front power cell that was disconnected and separated from the rest of the car that you could let run flat for auxiliary lighting and a bunch of other crazy stuff that I have planned for this build. I don't see that as a negative. I actually really like the separation. So we're gonna go ahead and go forward on that. We're gonna build a very easy to recharge system for this 100 amp hour battery. So what that means is, yes, this is the world's first Lamborghini Murcielago plug-in hybrid. I can't wait for my tax credit. It's gonna be wonderful. Anyways, back onto our battery. This is the mini 100 amp hour. I mean, left-handed, just lift this thing up, super easy. And the really cool thing that we just found out is it can be mounted in any orientation, as long as you don't, put these posts under any weight or any load. It can be mounted in any orientation, which is amazing because we couldn't do that with a lead-acid battery. I really wanted to mount something in here, and that's gonna have to go sideways to do that, but that is okay because it says so in the manual that's fine. So I'm quite jazzed about that. So Oscar's gonna go ahead and build a bracket in a way that we can mount this thing on its side, going back and down in here, and then we're gonna build a strap that will bolt it down. It's gonna strap over this, and it's gonna bolt down, and then we're gonna hook up, starting by hooking up our entire air system to it, and then wait till you guys see all the other accessories that we have planned for this build. It's gonna be a little nutty, and we're gonna power all of that stuff, the non-essential stuff, off of that battery right there. And we're gonna keep just the OEM essential stuff for the car on the lead acid battery that's in there. Actually, it's an AGM battery that's right in there. So let's get to mounting. All right, we got our Redodo lithium ion battery mounted into the car. So it's a nice metal strap that runs around with a piece of rubber to isolate it and keep it all soft and keep that pressure point, you know, to kind of diffuse the pressure on the angles. Looks awesome. We're gonna, in the long term, put, you know, a nice blocker plate through here. It's got some carpet on it. It'll hide all the wires and all that good stuff, but we still got a lot more to go in this area. So that's wrapped up for now. Very stoked on that. Huge thanks to Redodo. Check them out. Check the website out. I'll put a link in the description. They got batteries for all sorts of stuff. I actually originally got in contact with them for building a power bank for the back of the camper truck, which hopefully we will still do. They've got things like RV power, car power, solar power bank, all sorts of great stuff. Really, really good good resource to check out. So thanks to them, shout out to them. Hopefully we'll work with them again in the future. Actually guys, just as I was filming this, Redodo emailed me and there is a discount code as well. I believe it's BUILD and you're gonna get a discount at checkout as well. So I'll put all that information in the description in case you want to pick one up right now. The next mod we're gonna do on this might be kind of a surprise to you guys, but Murcielago owners and people in the community will know where we're going with this. It is converting it from all-wheel drive to two-wheel drive. Doing this actually makes the car go faster, just flat out 0 to 60 at quarter-mile speeds, all that stuff. It makes it go faster. Also for me though, big thing is it makes it a little bit more fun. You can do skids, you can do slides. See, an all-wheel drive system, unless it's built out to be damn near bulletproof, super, super robust, most all-wheel drive systems, when you go to do donuts and stuff like that, it breaks things in the transfer boxes and the different pieces that make the all-wheel drive system work. A lot of them, they break. I broke the one in my GTR pretty much immediately when I got it. That's why when I bought my green Huracan, that's a 580-2. That's the rear-wheel drive spec. It's what I really wanted because I think it's fun to be able to slide around corners and do donuts when you want to in a supercar. So we're going to be doing that in this car. It's just overall going to make it a little bit more reliable, a little bit easier on the E-gear automatic transmission and clutch as well, and it'll make it faster, and for me it's going to make it a little bit more fun. So I hope you don't hate me because of it, but we're going to go ahead and do it. So the first steps are to remove the front differential, the two axles running to the two hubs in the front, the torque tube, and the drive shaft coming out of there. Once we get those things out, then we can start talking about the supporting mods that we need to put back in there and things we got to fabricate to make the car happy with losing those things. Torque tube, drive shaft, axle, and front differential are all out of the car. Now, some things need to go back in the car, and oddly enough, that torque tube, you wouldn't think it, that's gonna go back into the car. That bracket up there is gonna go back in the car, and that front stub is gonna go back in the car. But first things first, let's talk about why we're putting the torque tube back in the car. So when we look inside the car, engine and then the transmission runs to about there and it stops there, as you guys saw underneath, and there's a big distance, about 4 feet, from where that transmission stops and runs up to the front where the differential was mounted on its bushings. After watching videos and hearing feedback from a lot of people, if you leave this system just how it is, at the end of the transmission, right about there in the car, there is a bushing and the transmission is bolted into it and it's an isolator. And people basically say that's not enough. If you leave that as the whole thing holding the front of the weight in the car, puts a lot of stress on that bushing. And the bushing is very solid, it's very firm, and it throws a bunch of vibrations through the car. That's the feedback that we've seen from the videos. We just have to trust that these videos are true, and that's what will happen. So what they recommend doing is actually maintaining the torque tube, taking the torque tube and keeping it bolted to the transmission, running forwards into the car, and then building an adapter, or you know, these companies want you to buy one, that goes from the front of this torque tube. This will be towards the front of the car, and it'll bolt into this bracket right there, and eventually be bolted then into the bushings in the car. So imagine this is like an extension off of the transmission that's then going to go into a custom piece that will emulate the front differential, and then use the front differentials, bushings and isolators in the car to help balance this transmission and reduce annoying vibrations in the vehicle. So all we got to do to be able to do this is fabricate a piece that emulates this front differential exactly. So the best way to do that is to fixture both of these things. So we're going to fix the the torque tube, excuse me, somewhere on the welding table. We're going to fix the diff somewhere on the welding table, so we know exactly where that is. Then we're going to remove the diff, and then we're going to build something cool that goes from the front of the torque tube to the bracket on the diff in the exact right spot. So when we put it back in the car, the torque tube, our new piece, and that bracket will bolt into where the diff used to bolt into and support the whole system a little bit more than it is supported now. Oscar got the torque tube fixtured onto the table, and I'm really glad that we did this because I don't know if this is going to show up on camera, but you can see that's not aligned at all. So if you were to try and guess or measure, it'd get confusing really quick. That's why these welding tables are really, really great. You can use them to fixture things, and they come with all of these fixturing posts and stuff as well that we could have used, but
well, not in this case because everything's so weird. I mean, normally you don't weld to it, but if you take care of them and grind them off after you're done, it'll be fine.
Yep, there you go. You heard it from Oscar. So you can weld to it. Another thing that we did, we slightly modified our torque tube to make this process a lot easier. Some people build these brackets that went around. There was a little neck on this before. We don't have that anymore. So this is our own custom torque tube at this point. It sucks. Like normally I wouldn't even hesitate. You know, it's just like a pretty worthless car piece that we don't expect to use ever again. But then you look online, you see that these are selling for like $1,200, and you're like, maybe I shouldn't cut it. But you know, we're gonna use it, and this is what we're using it for. So why not, right? So we took that flange off the face. Gonna build a cap here. From there, we're gonna take some tubing and extend it over to there. We may have over-engineered this piece a little bit, but better to be safe than sorry. That is a very, very strong support. That's definitely strong enough to hold the whole engine. But anyways, we're gonna get this back underneath the car and bolt it in where it goes. Hopefully everything bolts in nicely, and that'll be the engine and trans supported. We are cranking away at trying to get to a spot where we can drive this car today. We just got insurance on the car, which is cool. In Oregon, they have a race car clause that's gonna allow us to drive without registration, not need to worry about that. Kyle got a seat in here. We zip tied our dash in here. So those are looking good. A big thing that we have to do still is cut. We gotta cut the body. This is something I've very much not been looking forward to, but we are going wide body, so the cut is necessary, and we need to be able to turn the wheels. So, well, the front ones. And the back ones rotate, not so much turn. Anyways, you get the idea. So we're gonna get the support in there, Kyle is gonna look at trying to mount our one tail light. We only need one to be legal. It's only got one bolt and it weighs, or it costs like a lot of money. If it falls out of the car, it's gonna be a bad day, but maybe we bolt it in there and get some zip ties to follow it up with. Actually, this is an opportunity to do something a little fun that I've been wanting to try out. First off, this is a little sketchy because if that tab breaks, if the rest of it goes, this just slots in. That would mean our multi-$1,000 taillight would just fall onto the ground and be destroyed. So let's not do that. What we're gonna do, I've had this laying around and I've been wanting to play with it for a while. This is a solid red LED strip piece of rubber strip thing. And this runs from 110 home alternating current and it converts it to 12 volt DC, which is what cars run on. So I should be able to just eliminate that out of the thing, kind of strip these wires back and plug it into a car, and the 12 volt DC will power this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna jump over here. I'm gonna have Kyle hit the brakes for me, tap the brakes. I'll go into our plug for our tail light. Black is usually ground, and then I'll be looking for the positive. I'll hunt down the positive there, and then I will incorporate some quick and dirty wiring into our red rope light and run it all through here so we have a tail light that will make Papa Government happy. We're halfway done with the all-wheel drive to rear-wheel drive conversion. We've got the torque tube in there and the diff replacement / support. Let's jump down here and I'll show you. Da-na-na, da-na-na, da-na-na. Well, it's pretty tight for space. That right there, torque tube. Overly strong support, runs forward. And that's where the diff used to bolt up. And now it's all connected. End of journey. While that was going on, I got artistic with the brake lights. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So as a test though, this was something I wanted to try out. You can tell these are not quite bright enough. These would not be bright enough to actually run as a brake light. You couldn't really use that filament or that LED. You'd have to get something a little bit stronger, but shall work for our test drive. Anyways, back on the important stuff to finish the all-wheel drive to rear-wheel drive conversion. You have to have these stub axles. Well, that's what we call them, the stub axles. This is an actual axle, but you got to have this stub in your wheel to safely hold the wheel bearing and the hub and everything together. This makes the safe packaging of one unit so they can't fall into two pieces. You can get these made out of titanium and it's about $1,000 for a set, or you can take your once used axles and knock this off of there and bolt it back up. Luckily, the Crash did that for us on the passenger side. So we actually already have that in here in the passenger side, but not on the driver's side. So we're gonna go ahead and split apart that axle and we'll get that axle stub in our hub. All right, the front stub axle is on. So mechanically, I believe we have a functioning car. We would be ready to go do the test drive, except for, like I mentioned previously, we now have to cut the body. Least favorite part of the build so far. I don't want to cut the body, but we need to, because the wide body kit and the design we have is super, super cool. And it'll allow us to utilize like the cool parts of our air ride and go super, super low as well. And I mean, we're not cutting any body panels that aren't already destroyed anyways. This one's got this whole issue. This one's broken all the way through over here. This one we don't even need to trim because there's nothing left. And this one's not far off. Thoughts?
Not excited for it.
It's like so weird because it's gonna be cooler in the long run, but for right now it looks good. And for right now, I don't want to cut it, even though I know in the long run it's gonna make it cooler. Have you seen the ones like, have you seen pictures of the Lambos with the GT3 style front fenders?
Not recalling anything.
It makes this section pronounce the wideness so much, so as your door closes, this starts coming out, just like how our wide body kit's gonna, and it looks so much cooler. And then as this comes out wider and comes back in, so I think they use the same front bumpers. No, they couldn't. Anyways, they must use a custom front bumper too. It looks so much cooler that it's absolutely definitely worth it. It's just like, ooh, right now it's a little...
Committing to the idea that's rough.
I'm committed to the idea. I was since the minute we were building this car. This car has never been designed to not be wide body. That's why I bought the certain body pieces that I did buy and things like that. But man, this is like, out of all the cars we've cut up some good cars before. This one's the hardest one. But all right, enough talk. I will go ahead and we're gonna put the wheels on. We're gonna use the air ride actually to just start lowering things down and show us where we need to cut. I'll start making marks with tape probably, and then Oscar or Kyle, whoever loses the rock, paper, scissors to get fiberglass all over them. Carbon fiber, it's expensive fiberglass. We'll do the cutting. If you're doing any of this at home, cutting on fiberglass or carbon fiber car, make sure you have really good respirator. You do not want to inhale any carbon fiber or fiberglass dust. All right, guys, the cut has been made. Sorry if it's hard to hear. We all have to be wearing respirators because, well, like I just said in the video. So the cut has been made all the way around. We need to check wheel clearance, but we also need to check slammability. Kyle, go ahead and do the honors. I believe we have done it. This looks awesome. That is on the jack. I think we hit our jacks and our jack stands under there, our quick jacks. I think so. We're gonna go ahead and get those out and we'll try again. That's about as low as the front goes. It's not insanely low, but we haven't put a front splitter on here yet anyways. So it's definitely low enough. Remember, the big thing we want to get is max height out of this. We don't really care that much about going max low, but it's a damn good look. Damn good look. You want to try and turn the wheel and see if that's gonna work? All right, Oscar's gonna give turning the old wheel a try. That's a lot of turn. That's enough lock. It is maxing out on the body, but the other direction is going to be a big test if we're going to clear that bar right there. On the body back there? I think we need to test drive this and figure out if that's enough turning radius. It certainly looks like a good amount. We could always go smaller tire, but I really do like the meaty tire look. But yeah. I mean, it's like what? It's more than one full rotation, right?
Yeah, it's like 1.5.
1.5 rotations. Seems pretty good. Well, that means we're ready to test drive. We have taken some of the exhaust tips that have some sort of muffling in them off due to our rear bumper. But since Oscar's reinstalled that rear fuel tank, why are you smiling?
In case it catches fire, you can't.
Oh yeah, find a fire extinguisher, by the way. Oh, anyways, Oscar reinstalled the rear fuel tank and we've added some fuel, but we haven't tested the car to make sure it's gonna fire back up. So it is time to do that. Give her the old cold start. I know how to look for leaks. Hand me the air suspension. Now we can look for leaks. All good? All right, guys, well, we are in Oregon and it rains a lot here and we have still no windshield. We're working on that. So you can't hear the rain on the roof right now, but it's dumping. We have a very, very small window because it's supposed to start snowing tomorrow. So we have this like 1 hour window of time where it's supposed to stop raining, and that's when we're gonna hit it, between now and, well, when the sun goes down. So we're preparing. Should we see for the first time if the car even moves forwards and backwards? Because we've never done that. Okay, first things first. Let's open up that door. We're firing it up. We fired it up a few more times since the time Oscar did it. It had a little struggle when Oscar did it, and that was because of the new fuel system. It had to prime the lines, but I fired it up and it went very well. So yeah, we're gonna test that the transmission is functioning, make sure that our air pressures and are good on our air system. It's very happy with you know, not scraping or anything like that. And let's just move it around in the shop a little bit. All right, get ready, here we go. Yeah, the exhaust tips are off right now, so the exhaust goes straight down in the engine bay.
It pulls forward and it drives back.
Yeah, that's a Copart designation, runs and drives. We are driving. I think the clutch is quite mad. I know there's like a relearn system that's supposed to happen, but we don't have a Lamborghini computer, so as I told you guys in the beginning, these cars are finicky, and we're just gonna have to deal with it whatever way we can. Blinker. But it's shifted and we're driving. Woohoo! Let's get a little feel for this. Oh, big pothole. It feels very planted. It feels great, actually, suspension-wise. I mean, I wouldn't say no to a windshield right now. I'm getting a lot of wash off of the camera car even. Try third gear. Nice. Okay, now we gotta drop some gears here. Hey, she's working, man. This is kind of crazy. Very excited by this. I'm gonna need tear-offs for my sunglasses here. Second gear. Oil pressure's good. Fuel's very low, as we knew. Oil temp is good. Coolant temp is low. Not surprising, it is absolutely freezing cold outside. Oh, this is so sweet. Yeah. It's a little bumpy. We could adjust the suspension to be a little softer. That's okay. I'm literally eating the wash off of the camera car. I don't know why I didn't order a windshield faster. A little blow by the camera car here. Woohoo! I could feel that this car just wants to be driven a little bit harder, but we're not on those type of roads yet. It's having fun dodging potholes though. Feels quite gripped up. I have no side mirrors, so the camera car is radioing to me whether or not it's safe to turn lanes. Oh, this is a kick, man. It's always a little nerve-wracking driving these cars for the first time, but it is so much fun once you get used to it. Oscar says you can smell the burning leaves from inside the camera car. It is, smells a bit melty. I think that's also my clutch. I shouldn't smile so much because I'm getting crap off the ground in my teeth, but I can't help it. As cheesy as that sounds, this is a freaking blast. With sunglasses on, it's quite hard to see the gear indicator. Kyle, it smells like burning. It does a bit, yeah. Let me know if you see anything. I came prepared. Throwing rooster tails in the Mercy. Here we go. Get it in neutral, get this tunnel action. Yeah! Oh, it smells like melting. I agree, it smells like melting. I would not mind a quick pullover. Now, it has a smell of burnt.
Look at all the ash from all the leaves.
Oh my gosh, that's leaf ash. So something was on fire to turn into ash. That's pretty crazy. Okay, well, it is indeed not on fire, but has a high likelihood of, we got to get everything cleaned out of there at some point, like even better than we have. But here's the walk around. It's, I just love how mean this is with all the meaty tires and everything and just throwing up all that wash. It's so cool when you're driving inside it because the front wheels throw a rooster tail like out here. And it actually drives really well. Like it's super snappy, like dodging potholes and stuff. The suspension is absolutely great. You did a good job on the alignment too. So it's like, it's, other than the e-gear being clearly kind of pissed off because it's got a self-learning computer. So it like learns your driving style and it tries to learn how to engage and disengage. And it is thoroughly pissed off. So we're gonna have to talk to somebody who's got a Lamborghini computer about trying to reset that. But I mean, other than that, so it's not shifting super snappy either, but that's okay. Yeah, I tried. All right, there's the walk around. Let's go for a quick drive back. Yeah, let's find a abandoned cul-de-sac somewhere and see if we can do some donuts. I don't know how to turn the traction control off.
Is this it right here?
That looks like what would, yeah. That certainly looks like an icon for donuts. Yeah, let's see if we can't find a little spot. We don't have a lot of steering angle here. We're gonna have to look into doing something here. That was a lot of fun. I think that's the most fun on a test drive that I've ever had. We can safely say that there are some things to continue working on, like figuring out the e-gear and how to make it a little bit more happy, although it's working just fine. Oh yeah, once we power cycled it off and turned it back on, I think that warning light went away. But I do think that we need to run the Lamborghini calibration on it to recalibrate it. But man, I'm very happy with how it drove. I'm happy with how it performed. I'm overall very, very happy. In the next episode, we will continue to make this car even better. Please remember to subscribe. Head over to bsforbuild.com to check out all of our new merch. We got a Murcielago shirt on there. And drop a comment with which color you would like this car to be painted. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace!